Hi guys, this is a histogram lesson. It's touching upon frequency times class width formula. It's when you find the area. And I have put that above every single question so it hopefully sinks in. Because if you have a formula, you can't really go wrong. So we'll start with the first one. Estimate how many students scored 60 marks or more. So the first thing you need to do is work out where your marks is. Now your marks is here along this line. And it's asking how many scored 60 marks or more. So that comes into this bracket. These two bars here are over 60 because it goes 60 to 100. So now what you need to do is just work out the frequency density, which is here, on both of these widths. So we have 0.6 and we have 0.3. I've already done this question for you so you can understand it. So the next bit you need to do is work out what's your gap in between each two. So you work out the density first, or either way, 60 to 80 gives us 20. This is our class width. It's called a class width. 80 to 100 is 20. So let's plug all this in to our formula. So our frequency density is 0.6 times 20 equals 12. So that's that one done. The next one, the frequency density is 0.3 times the gap between the width, 20, equals 6. Now all you've got to do is add those up. And the answer comes to 18. So it's 18 students scored 60 marks or more. Which class has the highest frequency density? Now remember, we're looking for the density, and that's upwards. So I'd put that the highest density is roughly about, because everybody draws graphs differently, about 0.9. So I'd put between 40 and 60, which is the orange bar, is 0.9. Okay, so that was our highest frequency density. Right, hope you understood that, because we're going to move on to the next one. I've done it again for you. Approximately how many journeys took 35 minutes or longer? So let's go along our time, which is at the bottom, and we're looking to see over 35. So we have 35 to 50, which gives us a width, a class width of 15. And then we have 15 to 70, which is a class width of 20. Density, 0.6, 0.3. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to do 0.6 times 15 equals 9. 0.3 times 20 equals 6. Add them up and we have 15 journeys were taken. What is the width of the longest timed class? Well, the longest timed class, let's have a look. So the longest is going to be the class width, the width of it, how long in minutes. And the highest gap that we have, as you can see in the pale blue, is 20. So this is our longest gap. So that's simply the answer. It's 20 minutes. That's our longest gap. So now we're going to move on to this one. I've done the gaps again for you. I've done that all the way through so you understand it. Estimate how many people are at least 170 centimetres tall. Okay, so we've got 0.6 is our frequency density, 0.3 again. I didn't realise they were all the same. And then the gap is between 170 and 185. That's 15. And 195 to 100, the class width again is 15. So estimate how many people are at least 170 centimetres tall. So what we're going to do, we're going to do our FD, I'll call it, frequency density, 0.6 times our class width, which is 15, which equals 9. And then we have 0.3. And that comes to 4.5. Now we're going to add those up. And we get a total of 13.5. Can we leave our answer like that? Think about it. No, because we need to round it up, because it's asking us how many people are at least. How many people? Okay, so we round it up. So the answer is 14 people. We round it up because this number's 5. If it was 13.4, we would have rounded it down to 13 people. Which interval has the lowest frequency density? The lowest frequency density. So all we've got is this one, isn't it? That's the lowest at 0.26, is it? So yeah, that's the lowest frequency density between 140 and 150. So the next one is going to be how many reaction times are under 300 milliseconds estimated. So I filled in our FDs and our class widths and we're ready to go. So let's work it out. So we have 0.10 times 50. I won't speak while I do this bit because you know what I'm doing. If I just squeeze that in there. And then we're going to add them all up. And that comes to estimated. I'm just going to put 31. I'm just going to round it to 31 times. Which class has the greatest frequency density? So what has the highest frequency density? Let's have a look. So we've got, I would say it's between 250 and 300 at 0.29. So it's going to be 250 to 300. Next one, filled it in. So we want the FS, which is 0.4 times 15. And then we're going to add those up. And that comes to 6, 7, 8, 8.5. But the answer is in days. So let's just round it up to 9 days. 9 full days. What is the modal class? Now, the modal interval is the highest frequency density. So that would be, let's have a look. The highest frequency density would be this one, and that would be between 5 and 10. And finally, another one, estimate how many cyclists were going at least 22 kilometers per hour. Once again, I filled this in. They do have an estimate in these, by the way, because some people draw their graphs differently and some people may read them differently. So some people may put 0.8, 0.10, 0.095, I don't know. So they can be slightly easy on marking those in exams. So what have we got? We've got frequency times class width, the width of the bar, which is 8, and we have 0.3 So that's a 7.2. Once again, it's decimal and it's asking us how many cyclists we're going. So we're going to round it up to 11 cyclists. Which class interval is the widest? Well, I think that's pretty obvious, isn't it? The widest class interval is going to be 30 to 42 because it's 12. So you would just put here, the class into the widest is 30 to 42. And that's because the width of the bar equals 12. You don't have to put that up, just put that as extra. Okay, so that is just example. There's nothing more I can say, really. When you come across these questions, just remember those steps and you'll be absolutely fine. Bye!